Good evening, everybody. Would you please stand for an invocation and a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America and
and
to
to
the
the
republic
republic which it
which
stands,
it stands, one nation,
nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty
liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, look at my community with your eyes of love. Help us face difficult times. I pray you fill our hearts with peace. In God's name we pray. Amen.
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 I just want to welcome everybody to Symmes Township Zoom meeting. Before we get started, I mention this at every meeting. I know we're facing a very difficult time in Symmes Township in the world right now. And I just want to reach out to anybody that needs help. Please call the township. We'll be more than happy to help in any way. If you know somebody that needs help and you don't want to reach out, please call us and let us know, because we would love to help anybody in our community that needs help. And that being said, again, I want to thank Symmes Township, the residents, and I also want to thank the fire department, the police department, and our employees for Symmes Township, because we've done an excellent job during this difficult time. Park usage is up 80%. So that puts a lot of stress on our park crew, and they make sure that the bathrooms are clean, the equipment's clean, and everybody's safe and healthy when they're in our parks. I want to thank Kim and I want to thank Joe, because at this time we've had a new fiscal officer come in and we haven't been able to train him because they're not offering training right now. So it's very much pushed on Kim. And so she's basically has two jobs right now. So she's doing a lot of the fiscal officer work and she's our administrator. So I just want to thank her. I want to thank our park staff, our road staff, and our staff that's in-house, because they're doing a fabulous job. So thank you. And with that being said, roll call.
I'll go ahead and do it. Miss Lees,
Aye. Are here.
Mr. Beck,
Here.
Mr. Bryant,
here.
Approval of I move approval of the agenda.
Second,
Miss Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
I move approval of the minutes, regular meeting, July 7th, 2020.
Second.
Roll call.
Miss Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
Fiscal officers report.
All right, see, and I think this is where we're gonna have to, Joe, did you unmute yourself?
I don't see Joe. There he is.
He's under attendee, so I just let him talk.
Okay.
No, oh,
Oh, where'd he go?
Did he raise his hand?
Well,
Sorry, I
he's
just
in the
promoted-
wrong,
I just
he's in the
promoted
wrong list.
He's on mute still. He needs to unmute himself. And I
Let me
do
text him.
apologize. This is all new for all of us. So we're going to try to navigate this as best as we can. So thanks for being patient with us.
my,
There he goes.
Here you go.
I'm up,
You're up.
Yep.
my video up also? Or just
No,
audio?
we just see your
No,
name and that's
You have
it.
to turn your video on. Now you're on.
Now,
Got the full Joe.
okay. Yeah, my camera wouldn't go on. Okay. I think I just heard you say fiscal officer's report.
Yep.
Correct?
Got it.
Okay, our account balances on our bank statement for our regular checking account for July, it's $1,546,868.10. The HRA checking is $9,271.32. The credit card checking account is $2,624.57. And our money market account is $1,193,577.50. which is up a whopping $50.55. I would like to see if we can do something about that. We do not have the meter report yet for last month, so I can't give you that. We received the CARE Act funds from Hamilton County using the local government fund formula for distribution, and we received $199,225.89. We had a communication with Courtney Shalosky with the auditors, state auditor's office, with queries on how to handle that, what to do with it, what we're able to do with it. And I'll read you her response to that email from Kim. And she says, this topic is something our office has been discussing, and I am waiting on final information guidance to come forward, which should be any day. And I will respond with more detailed information at that time. So they can't answer our questions yet, but it's coming. The state treasurer canceled all training sessions for 2020. But they did institute a change in their previous policy, and they made the CPIM online courses available for credit for newly elected fiscal officers and other officials. So at least that helps. We have something to go to for some information. I spoke with Chris McCoy with Local Government Services of the State Auditor's Office to facilitate moving to the UAN bookkeeping system. He offered a little bit of advice, but he really couldn't answer a lot of the questions. We do have a couple of issues that we have to resolve before they'll approve us. One is 3 funds that we have that we don't totally know the source of income for those funds, nor what those funds are for. And the other issue is the overage in the general fund of $131,782 and a corresponding shortage in the lighting district funds of the same amount. UAN, when I talked to UAN, they told me that would not be an issue once we get to legal opinion. So I assume, Jeff, you're going to be responsible for that. I also had a discussion with a guy at UAN because we were hoping to switch over sooner than later. But when we go over all the parameters that we have to accomplish in order to get that switch to happen, it's much more complex to try to do that in the middle of the year, because we've got to go back and recapture and analyze almost everything and every expenditure and break it all down according to the type of funds that are different from ours. So we came to the conclusion that it's probably going to be a smarter practice for us to wait, make sure we end everything at the end of the year and try not to do any carryovers if we can help it, as far as things that we have to pay out. And then it's a much simpler switch to do remaining balances in funds dumped into new funds. So that's what we're shooting for at this point in time.
Will you entertain a question?
What's that?
Sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Aren't we up for an audit at the end of 2020? And wouldn't that be nice to have one accounting system for the biennial audit and then switch to UAN in 2021?
Well, we would be switching in 2021.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'd be doing the switch January 1st.
All right.
And he assured me that they will be having training classes in November and December, because you can't switch to it till you do their training and get their equipment. So, we're going to have to play with time elements here to accomplish that. At the Finance Committee meeting last week, we had scheduled presentations from our current bank, PNC, and also Fifth Third Bank to contrast and compare what they offer, what they can offer us, and whether we are smarter staying where we are or doing a switch. At the last minute, kind of, PNC backed out with the excuse that they do not do presentations that are recorded. And of course, that I don't understand that, but I mean, there's no way for us to get a presentation from them when we're required to record information like that. So anyhow, the only one we got was Fifth Third, and I have to say that, in my opinion, PNC's move to not participate certainly lessens, in my eyes, our ability to stay with them, or whether it's smart for us to stay with them. Fifth Third will supply us with estimates of what their services will cost us, so we can do a comparison between them and what we have now. But they needed some data from us, and which we have done. And as soon as we hear back, you'll get a report on that too. I spoke with Ryan Holliday, the liaison between the Ohio Auditor and all districts. He's seeking input and possible testimony for Faber's bill that will be submitted to the Ohio House and Senate. I don't know if it already has or not. As far as I know, it has not. To address the fact that there's no teeth in current law to protect townships and incoming fiscal officers from less than ideal outgoing fiscal officers. And we certainly told them that we would participate in that.
I have a question, Joe. Have we started the forensic audit?
Have we what?
Forensic audit? Have we started that?
No, not yet. That'll be going soon. One, we wanted to accumulate information, and it's hard to know everything immediately. So we've had a little bit of time under our belts to see a few more things, and we can be more informative. Plus, with me being a new fiscal officer and having no training whatsoever because the state canceled everything, the burden of both offices, the administrator and the fiscal office, really have fallen on Kim LaPense. And it didn't help that we knew nothing about the previous OTAS system that all our finances are on. It's an outdated, outmoded system. There's no support for it. Kim was lucky enough to track down a gentleman who knows the system. So he's been a godsend as far as help lead us through what we have to know about the system just to do everyday work. And there's still stuff about it we don't know. But yeah, with all of that going on, and then with the COVID partial shutdown, there isn't time to do everything. So now we're in a position, now that the tax budget's done and submitted, that's the next big push. Will be that.
Okay, that it?
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
we're on presentations, we have none. Public hearing, we have none. I move approval of disbursements, warrant number 78004 to 78146 in the amount of $594,850.07.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Okay, can I move hearing from residents up so we can, because we usually put that before reports, so they don't have to sit through reports. Is that okay if I do that?
Or just make a motion to move it up, please.
Okay, I move to move hearing for residents up to now. If that's okay with you guys. Do I have a second?
Elise,
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Okay, so who wants to speak first? Who's gonna, I see two hands.
we've got Matt and Carol that have raised their hands.
Okay, let's take Matt first.
Okay, Matt, I allowed you to talk.
Hi, Matt.
Hi there. Hi, can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Okay, great. And I don't know if you're able to, shoot, I don't know how to activate my camera, but that, you know what I look like. I sent a short little 7-page slide deck over. I'm not sure if you're able to share that. Kim, do you know?
Oh, let me go back in my email. I forgot all about that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and get started. I just had a few things I wanted to share with you all in light of everything that's been happening this year, and really appreciate you giving us the time, or giving me the time. And I've invited a few other of our baseball parents and Symmes Township residents to join us and each maybe give a short little testimonial about their experience. In the presentation on slide 2, really I just outlined what a normal year looks like for us and what this COVID season has looked like for us. We normally have about 750 kids play baseball and softball in the spring, which is roughly what I think we had 746 registered prior to COVID coming down. That makes up about 65 teams. We, have 3 or so coaches per team, so around 150 or so coaches. You guys know we do a Memorial Day tournament. We participate in these All-Stars for Little League. There's a 4th of July parade usually that the kids march in. And we're usually playing games and or practicing just about 7 days a week somewhere. So making good utilization of all the fields that we have available to us. So we did all of that to get ready for this season, and then March came and everything got shut down, and we had to, wait for the state to give us a blessing to go ahead. We had to refund about $22,000 or $24,000 in fees to parents who didn't want their children to play ball, which is completely understandable. We ate a little bit of expense on some uniforms and other sunk costs. We ended up with about 290 kids playing baseball and softball. So we were down around 40% or so. 24 teams roughly, about 70 coaches involved. No tournaments were played in town. We did create, because of the way this works, I think I've told you in the past, as kids get older, fewer kids are playing sports. So we usually have to play with other communities like Mason, Lebanon, et cetera. Everybody had shut down their baseball programs, so we had nothing for 13-year-olds and above, but we created in July what we call the T-shirt league, which was basically like pickup baseball, and invited kids to come, and we've had enough kids to play basically 2 games of baseball on Wednesday nights. I don't know if you can see me, but we ordered about 300 of these masks for kids to wear, had to deal with extra helmets, bats, catcher's equipment, all of that sort of stuff to comply with COVID. Kim, is the presentation up yet?
That's what I'm trying to figure out how to share it.
Brilliant. There it goes. Perfect.
Do you see it?
Yep. So that's the slide I was just
Okay.
talking about. Yep.
You want me to go to the next one?
Yeah. If you go to the next one, you're going to see these kids are not socially distanced. This was like the first game of the season, and one of the fans got them together. But I should say also that we had 0 incidents, 0 illnesses. So we're very lucky. I know they look like masked bandits, but these are a half dozen or so of our 10-year-olds that were out at home in the Brave Park that day wearing their masks. So that's what baseball looks like today. If you go to the next slide, Kim, aside from, I've never mentioned this to you before, but I don't think, besides all of that great baseball that we're able to do with your partnership, we also run a youth umpiring and mentoring program. So we try to teach kids responsibility, and from age 12 and up, we offer them the ability to be an umpire. And here we've got one of our girl umpires who actually was umpiring a baseball game there, and another girl who was playing with her brother. And I took this picture and I shared it with you because the young lady, the younger of the 2 ladies in that picture, went 4 for 4 that day. It was quite a day at the plate for her. playing with the guys. But normally we have over 30 youth umpires. This year we had about 15 to 20, and because we had so many fewer games, they got a lot less experience umpiring. But they get together with me and our umpire coordinator at 7:30 every Saturday morning. If you've ever seen the movie Caddyshack, it's kind of like where they assign caddies to the golfers. We're assigning all these kids to go out and umpire that week. And, they have to deal with adults and crowd control. And again, this year was a little bit different with the masks, et cetera. We had them umpire from behind the pitcher's mound. So a bit of a different experience. And we hope to, have some fall ball games where they can earn some more money too. We pay them as well. So just wanted to share that we do that as well in the community. Next slide, Kim, if you can, please. This is what, our competitive teams, their coaches require them to do community service. So on the left there, you see in 2019, they're out at, I think it was called Helping the Hungry, or Hands Helping the Hungry. And that's one team. And this season, there's a different team. Again, probably should have been spaced out a little bit more, but they're masked up and went out and collected donations for those who are in need of food. So that's also part of our program is them doing community service if they play on our competitive teams. On the next slide, I just wanted to talk about, and I'm nearly done here, so bear with me. What we're hoping to accomplish this fall, if we're able to continue to play baseball in accordance with the city, the township, the county, and the state, we've currently got, I think the last number I saw was 168 or so the kids registered for baseball, and I don't have the softball numbers yet, but we're closing in on 200 kids that want to play fall baseball. Some of them are holdovers from the spring. Some are kids who haven't had any activity in months and want to get out there for organized sport. Some are kids that are coming over from the contact sports where the parents are a little bit more anxious and know that we've found a way to do things and that there's a lot less contact in baseball than other sports. It'll be ages 4 through 16, just like our regular spring season. We have about 20 teams. We're going to need about 60 coaches, which we're working on, and we'll get those umpires back to work. For the older kids, again, we will play in Mason and hopefully at Home of the Brave. I hope to I've signed us up for the T-Mobile Home Run Derby for 9-year-olds through 12-year-olds, and I'd love to host that at Home of the Brave. It would be an evening where kids that are you have to be in our program, sign a waiver, all these sorts of things, but they would sign up and I won't bore you with the details, but they'll get balls pitched to them, have to hit them a certain distance where there'll be a chalk line or over the fence. And it'll be just like in the majors. And if they complete this, hopefully they're able to advance to another round somewhere else in the state of Ohio. But I think that's doubtful with everything that's going on. More of the masks I'll be ordering. And then one of the things I wanted to get your permission on to improve our social distancing is I took a picture there of some zip ties, and I saw they were doing this or planning for this over at some other communities. I'd like to just zip tie on the fence every 6 feet, one of these zip ties, so the kids know this is where I put my baseball bag. This is where I go and get my water and stand, so I keep my distance between my teammates. And these would be easy to snip off at the end of the season or when COVID is hopefully gone. It's your standard 8-inch zip tie. So I'd love to be able to do that. And then I also wanted to get permission maybe to take some of these. I took a picture of what they have over in Mason. They have these little baseball stickers on the bleachers that they put every 6 feet apart. Just a nice to have to remind people to sit apart. I think in general, the residents, after the initial warning that I gave them, they did a pretty good job of bringing chairs and sitting around. But on the bleachers, sometimes people kind of huddle up and forget. And then that brings me to, kind of the conclusion. If we're able to do this and able to, you give us permission to keep playing this fall, which Jana did send the permits through, we really need to put some dirt on the surface that we have. I don't know if Bill's shared with you, but some rocks I think have come up when they put the irrigation in and when someone turned over the dirt. We've gone through and picked as many pebbles as we can out, but as a ground ball goes through the infield and hits one of those rocks, it shoots in any direction, and our kids are quick, but not that quick. And we need about 100 tons of dirt on the big field and 80 tons of dirt on the other 2 fields and some other odds and ends. So Bill went out and got a proposal from All Team Sports, and And I'd love to see us at least get the dirt down so that surface is playable. And then, you know, if we can, do some of the other items, but the most urgent one is to put the dirt on the field. And, you know, we've got a couple of $1,000s that we could put towards that. We know how expensive it is, but we'd like to, you know, make an investment to show that we're, you know, playing our part in all of this to help out. But that's really all I had. I wanted to give you guys a summary of the season that we have had. Again, we had no reports of any illness, no injuries at all, and a great season. Just wanted to share that and see if you had any questions for me before my friends from baseball chime in.
Okay, can we go ahead and speak? Okay. Bill, did you want to speak?
I just want to thank Matt for his presentation. And as far as I'm concerned, the zip ties are a great idea. I'm all for that. And I was actually going to ask Matt if he had any input for us as far as the field. So I appreciate that, that information about the pebbles. We definitely need to address that.
And I guess it's my understanding from talking with Bill and Kim that we really haven't invested anything in the dirt surface itself. So that wasn't part of it. So I guess it's kind of overdue, is what it's my understanding.
Yeah, can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, I think the great thing is with your irrigation system, as that waters the dirt as well as the grass, that'll help prevent erosion. The wind every year picks up, you know, dry dirt and blows it away. So typically it's every 5 or 7 or 10 years that you have to put, you know, several tons of dirt on the field anyway. But you'll have, you know, we will have a much longer span between those because we're able to water those fields and keep the dirt in.
Okay. And so that's the bare minimum we can do. You know, I'm always worried about our budget, but that's something that has to be done right away. Is that my understanding, Kim?
Yes, he had requested that we move on that as fast as possible just because their fall season starts here quickly.
Okay, Ken, I see you sitting back. Do you got anything?
Well, I'm really perturbed about the people that we had in there working this thing, why it wasn't done when we had the money to do it. I've seen comments made in the past few months about, well, actually before the levies passed in November, we were talking about running short on park funds and so on. And the last thing I want to do is have to go back out for another levy. So I'm wondering where we're going to get the money to pay for this.
I think Kim already explained that. Kim, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, we have money available in our Rossi Park Fund, the Fund 12B, to pay for it, the additional improvements that are necessary. And I don't know the answer of why it wasn't included. All I can probably think of is that they were trying to save us money when they put the contract together. So they probably didn't include improvements to the field itself just because we were doing so many other things. Maybe they thought in their opinion 2 years ago that it wasn't necessary at the time. So,
Okay.
but unfortunately, you know, through the course of construction, and like Matt explained with the irrigation and everything, you know, you lose dirt every couple of years and you got to replace it. It's just the thing you have to do for maintenance.
All right. All team sports or whatever is the only people who can do this. We only got one estimate.
Yeah, Bill only got one estimate. In his opinion, they're the best out there doing this.
Well, if we're going to do it, I want it done right, but can't help but wonder if somebody else can compete with them. I'm not trying to drag it out.
We can have Bill look into that.
I would appreciate it.
So, do we have anybody else out there that wants to speak on this subject? We might as well do it all together. Do we know how we can, if there's any other parent from Loveland Youth Baseball that wants to speak up? I saw a couple more hands go up.
Yeah, I've got a Michelle B.
I saw. Okay, do you want to take?
Can you hear me?
Hi, Michelle.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. My name is Michelle Barametti, and I live at 11926 Fall Creek Lane, which is in walking distance to Home of the Brave. I'm here to talk to you guys about our love for community and baseball in the parks. My husband and I grew up on the west side, and on the west side is quite large. It doesn't quite have the community feel. And so when we found Loveland, we kind of moved straight away because we loved I can walk to 3 different parks from my house and all the community events we have. And luckily, baseball has been our one return to normalcy for after COVID. My son is going into 4th grade, and we decided to keep him in baseball with all the new precautions. And it has been a welcome respite, getting outside, getting to the parks. He gets to play with his friends. Matt did a great job of making sure the rules were enforced and everything we felt safe. And actually my son said he was going to be done with baseball after this year. And then he had this great game where he just did the basic stuff, but his coach gave him a game ball and he decided he wants to be in for another year, which, going into 4th, 5th grade, that makes me excited. I can keep him outside and playing. So I just hope that you guys can help add to the dirt for the fields. We started at Home of the Brave this season and had a few practices, but because of the pebbles, we weren't able to stay there. And so it would be nice to get that all finished so that we can continue using the park like we have been, but then also the fields too. So I thank you for that consideration.
Thank you, Michelle.
Okay. Point of clarification, Matt. These are pebbles, not rocks, not stones that are percolating to the surface. Hello?
Hello.
I got to
Okay.
unmute him. Sorry.
She didn't want, she muted me.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the definition. I would say they range in size from dime to penny. There's probably nothing bigger than a nickel.
Okay.
But you know how it is with a baseball hits one of those and it can shoot off in any direction.
Are we doing anything in prep of the surface before the games, like dragging the fields or anything?
Yeah, that's for me. Yes, we have. We've dragged the fields, not before every game, but before a lot. We have rakes out there where guys will go out and rake them, and we've sent parents and kids out there to pick stones or pebbles, etc. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
And Michelle, I wanted to make a quick comment since you're in the park all the time. Make sure you go to Mead because the sunflowers are blooming right now and it looks beautiful. Mead Historical.
I heard and I saw that's the one we go to all the time, especially with the story walks. For my kids that were older, I thought it would be too little for them, but they loved it.
Good.
I had trouble finding Waldo.
That was a fun one. This month it's Finding Wilds. We're trying to stick with the wild theme since the sunflowers came up, and so it's about finding nature everywhere you look. You could be in a city, but you could be anywhere and you can find nature. It's pretty cute.
Love it. Thank you.
Okay, so who's next with baseball?
I have a V. Cantapos. Did I say that right?
Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
You did say that was very brave of you to pronounce the last name, and well done. So thank you.
Did I get it right?
You did. Yes, you did.
Oh, holy crap.
Very well done. I appreciate the time and thank you for letting me speak here. Matt, thanks for letting me speak as well. Very similar to what Michelle said, my wife and I are high school sweethearts. We came from the west side, and if anybody knows where Finneytown High School is, we came from the Finneytown Green Hills area, where baseball is somewhat big over there. And our son started there, our oldest one. We have 2 boys, both in the LYBO program. One is 10 years old, the other one is 6. I've coached both of them until they get to the point where basically I've taught them all I know, which is about 7 years old, and then they move them on to the experts. But Matt and his crew have done a great job at OYBO. We've seen multiple organizations run and a lot of youth sports organizations run. And Matt and his crew, the board of LYBO, have done a great job of helping us out. We live on Cactus Lane, which is fairly close to Home of the Brave. We use Home of the Brave quite a bit, not just for baseball reasons, but also we like to just walk around the pond there in the back. Before COVID, that was one of our favorite spots to go for the water park and the playground there. My boys love that. And so we had Home of the Brave holds a special spot for us. And when we were looking to move into areas, that was one of the reasons we even moved, was all the parks in the area and all the locations that the kids can get out and play. Obviously, COVID hit at a weird spot where schools shut down quickly, and we lost a big sense of normalcy. And when baseball opened back up, both of my boys were excited to get back going into something that felt normal and felt real for them. They got to see friends that they only got to see through a computer screen. And again, as Matt showed some of the pictures on the slides, they were they were masked up. The picture that Matt had on the slide where the girl went 4 for 4, her name is Bryn, and she's on my team, and we were super proud to have her on the team, and that was a special moment for us. And she was automatic. I don't think she ever got out. I mean, she hung with the boys in my age, in the age group that I was the coach for, very well. And my son, I can tell you, the 6-year-old who was on Bryn's team there, he was teammates with Bryn, got to meet a lot of new faces and new friends. And my wife and I, although academics obviously is very important and should be important for all families, sports, we hold just as high, because the lessons that you can learn from sports and youth sports in particular are lessons that my boys are going to carry with them through soccer, and then obviously LYBO baseball. Both of them, I tell them that, baseball is probably the most similar sport to life. You just never know when you're called on, but when the ball's hit to you, you better be ready. So baseball is something that is very near and dear to us. We're glad the Reds are back. We're glad to watch them. And I can tell you the sense of community, it was just good to see people again out on the LIBO fields this past summer. Look forward to many more days together with our friends and family out there. It became a family event this past summer. We had all the grandparents and aunts and uncles would come out to watch. You could have charged admission if you wanted for my family to come out and just see the boys again and see my parents, the grandsons, come out and watch them play baseball. So it was just a very important and special time for us this summer. And although it was a COVID shortened season and a little bit different, I think the memories that we created, I can tell you the last game of the season for my youngest, who was 6 years old, he ended the game and the season on a beautiful catch to second base. And it's at their age, they're very happy not to trip over themselves and they're running to a ball. So to see a kid catch the ball was fun to see. And then also my oldest ended on a double. So it was just really fun memories that they're going to carry into the fall. Hopefully they go back to school on normal terms, but at least we had a little treasure in the summer through LIBO. And again, just appreciate the time to speak. Thank you.
Hey, what's
you.
your address on Cactus, please?
9270 Cactus Lane.
Thank you.
Hey, I have another question for Matt.
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What this dirt that has to be put on these 3 fields, we have to excavate and then put down this stuff that doesn't have stone in it. Is that the concept?
I don't believe so. My understanding is it goes right on top. I'm pulling it up here. It is called.
It's like an infield mix, right?
Yeah, fair ball infield conditioner, 3 tons of that, and then pro ball infield mix. Yeah, so they mix that together and lay it over the top is my understanding.
Okay, all right. Because I was concerned that if we had to excavate and then put down a new surface and so on, how much time it would take for it to be ready to be played upon.
Yeah, that's my concern too. I hope this is quick. It shouldn't take them but a day.
Okay.
Matt, when does your season start again?
We're between seasons. We hope to be practicing next week, but we haven't quite finished organizing the team, so it might be 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
Can we get him?
What did you say, Jody? I'm sorry.
Can we get all sports that fast? All teams?
That's what I was texting Bill to see if they're available that fast.
Okay. Well, that's something that I think we need to work on. Do we have some kind of resolution or something coming up later?
Yes.
Okay, is there anybody else that needs to speak on the baseball?
Let's see, I have a David Kopecky.
That wasn't bad. That was close. Kopecky.
Okay,
So that was
Kopecky.
pretty better than most. Yeah. Yeah, like Billy Kopecky from the movie Big.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah. True story. Yeah, so I have two kids. I live in Stonebridge Farms at 11913 Stonemark Lane. Let's see, I have two kids in Loveland. Casey actually plays with V's son, and my daughter Nora also plays baseball. And it was really great when we could practice on Home of the Brave. We could actually walk there or ride our bikes there. I'm not going to get too much into, since I think Michelle and V really, I think, gave the real great idea of what LYBO is all about, especially this season, which was kind of a screwy year, as we all know, from the schools and pretty much everything else, frankly. So I think it's a great organization, and to me it just seems like, if there's something we can do, and even if we need to help in some way, get that field ready, since we're kind of at the 5-yard line, I feel, with those fields. It's money well spent, for all our tax dollars. So, LYBO has been a great organization. Obviously they put on tournaments, and, having those fields at Home of the Brave is a really great use of the space. It really gives a lot more options within, both within Symmes and within kind of the Loveland community. So, that's just my feeling. Hopefully you can see where I'm coming from as well.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
Anybody else?
Okay, I got a Carl Margraf. Carl, are you there?
You didn't mute him, did you, Kim?
Yeah, I'm hitting
Okay.
that right.
Now I think I got it off. Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
sorry about that, Carl.
No, that's okay. It took me a minute to figure it out as well. And with my last name often is butchered. So Kim, very good. Thank you. So Carl Margraf,
I'm like 4 for 4 tonight.
you're on a roll tonight. It's a hot streak. I live in the Stonebridge Farms neighborhood as well. My wife and I do. I had a 11976 Stonemark Lane. So actually just down the street from Dave Kopecky and his family. I'll be brief as well. I think V and Michelle have done a very nice job of capturing the sentiments with LYBO. I have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, 13, 11, and 7. And the 2 boys are the older 2. Both play baseball and have for really since they were 5 with the Loveland Youth Organization, and are both playing on 2 of the competitive teams now. And we have, one of the things we love about Symmes is the parks, right? We back up to the Mead property. We truly enjoyed that trail. The sunflowers are beautiful now. My daughter was just telling me about those today. And the connection between Mead and Home of the Brave. Those fields in that park is a real gem. As my 13-year-old is really eyeing the larger field and looking forward to playing on that field, right? As a full-size player next year at 14 years old, right, on a full-size field. And having seen a number of fields around the city for both of them to play on, I think you guys have built a complex that you should be incredibly, very proud of. I don't know, we're very proud of it, and we enjoy being there and using the park in all aspects. And would love to see it taken across the finish line. I think that would really be kind of the icing on the cake, so to speak, and truly make it really just a beautiful place to play and for the kids to enjoy themselves, which has been, as all the parents have said, extremely important during this time of COVID. And baseball has been one of our saving graces, especially for my preteen. We learned actually only after he started playing baseball that he probably had battled a little bit of depression during this COVID time, and really being able to get out there with his friends, even though at a socially distance, it's something that we do feel like over the last 8 to 10 weeks that we really have him back, right, and enjoying life again. And baseball and being able to do that on Symmes fields and in the Loveland community has been part of that. So thank you for considering this. and I appreciate the work that, that all of you are doing for our township.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, I've got a Dan, let's see, where'd he go? Dan Ratcliffe?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, my name's Dan Ratcliffe. My wife and Tanya and I and 4 kids live in Stonebridge as well. We're at 9739 Stone Masters Drive. And we walk up to Home and Brave all the time through Mead, which is a really simple walk for us. It's just straight back through the woods and then across the street. So I've been coaching baseball now for 3 years. My 2 sons play on the same team. And then also this year, I coached my daughter for 2 practices until everything got canceled. But because of my boys' age, they were able to play this summer. And thank God that we had it. It just gave us something to look forward to. And, kind of like what V was saying, our grandparents would come out, cousins, friends, which is just rare to have friends come out and watch an 8-year-old baseball game. But I think they were kind of just wanting any type of sport that they possibly could get. I'm not going to go too much into this. Baseball has been just so important in our lives. My grandfather, when he passed away, we sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" when he got lowered, and it was serious. We're huge Reds fans. My 2 sons, my son Drew takes it really serious, and my son Connor, he just has fun with it, which has always been fine to me. I never wanted to push him at all. But then this year, there was about a week and a half when we got an email from the Generals, and I asked my sons, "Do you want to try out?" And they said yes. And I said, you guys need to put a lot of practice in. And my son Drew, that was no problem at all. But with my son Connor, he took it so serious, and he made it. Thank God, because it was going to be really tough to have that talk with one that did and one that didn't. But just afterwards, I just asked him, what drove you, or why did you want to make it so bad? He just said, during this Corona, I had nothing else to do, and I just realized baseball is fun. I'm like, that's awesome, man. That's what I wanted to hear from him. Because overall, I never wanted to be the dad that drives my sons to feel like they have to play baseball. I just want them to have fun. And when it comes to Home of the Brave, when we walk up there, I'll tell you that field is incredible. When I walk around with them, and even my daughter that plays baseball, they you can just see that they're enamored walking around those fields. And, especially the ones for the older kids, they think that they've really made it, and it's just cool to kind of see their reaction off of it. And, I just hope that we can keep the field so that kids can keep enjoying baseball.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I got one more. John Gamo?
Yep. Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
And Kim, you said my name right. I get a lot of Gummows, but Gummo is correct. So you're on a hot streak here. So John Gummo, I'm at 10059 Plantation Point Drive. Have 2 boys, 7 and 9, that have played a combined 10 season in the LYBO organization over different spring and fall seasons. And they did play this past spring/summer. Like everybody said, it was just kind of a return to normalcy for the kids, and I think also for all the families in the community, to really just have something to get them out of their house. Matt did a great job making sure everybody was doing it in a safe, socially distant way. The kids had their masks, so I felt good with the way everything was pulled together and handled appropriately, amid COVID concerns. But really, not only just bringing the boys together, bringing the community together. It was just a lot of, very fun environment. And, some of the lessons that kids learn through sports, right, can only be taught through sports, right? How to be a good teammate, how to win, how to lose, all those, I think, lessons, both my boys, 7 and 9, got to experience all of that throughout this season. And those are lessons that are learned over time, not just in one single instance. So I think, just having that great experience to continue to grow those life skills, teach these life lessons as part of LYBO has been great for my boys. Addition, just having learning a love of baseball, love of the game, I've really started to see shine through both my kids. And so as we think about Home of the Brave, it's a great asset for the community, like everybody else has said. we spend lots of time up there, either playing baseball, playing soccer, or enjoying kind of the playground and the splash park when my kids were younger. And the improvements I think that you guys have already made to the baseball fields at that facility are just great and amazing for the community, and a great facility to bring teams to, whether they're, local or from out of the immediate region, to play baseball. And I think, taking these from very, very good fields to excellent fields is not going to take a whole lot. And so I think just a little bit of extra dirt could go a long way in kind of taking these across the finish line, like others said. So appreciate your concerns for this, and hope we can get it done.
Thank you.
Okay, and then next up, we have Carol Symmes.
Okay, are we all finished with baseball before we move to Carol?
Yep, that was the last person on the list.
Okay, thank you, everyone. It's on our agenda on the next page, so we'll get to it soon. So thanks for your comments.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, who is this? Because this is not Carol.
This is not Carol. This is Mark McGuillan.
Okay.
I'm going to speak. I live at 9355 McKinney Road. And after I'm done speaking, CJ's going to speak and Carol's going to speak.
Okay.
I'm going to try to be brief. The first thing I'd like to do is volunteer for the Land Use Committee. Who do I see, or how do I go about doing that?
We go ahead, Jody.
I think the committee's already formed.
Okay. And it stays filled until there's an empty position. Is that correct?
No, it's an ad hoc committee. It's only during this time that we're updating our land use do we have a committee.
Okay. And how would one go about getting on the committee that should be in 5 years?
Well, you'll have in 5 years, or the next time we update it, we'll put it out on social media, probably on our website, and we'll advertise for it. So just be looking.
Great. I'd like to be very active in that.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you. At the last land use meeting or hearing, Jody, you made a statement that didn't set well with me. It's like, we have a good idea of what the public want. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think that you do. I believe that the inadvertently or otherwise withholding information, not making it available to residents to make informed decisions until the last minute's really wrong. I'll use a couple of examples. Are you aware that the agenda for tonight's meeting was not on the website last night?
Are you talking to all of us or to me?
Just using an example. The second is the land use process. The map was a fiasco. It wasn't available as stated. It was wrong and it was incorrect until very recently. I understand that the affected parcels of property weren't available individually to view for the residents in the township until after about the 24th of July. I'm a little appalled in that I don't know the process, but there are 181 affected properties. And Phil had indicated there was some of the properties that were, housekeeping issues, and I understand that. But I, from what I'm gathering, is that that's like 6. So to my way of thinking, not being completely informed, the other potential properties of 175 are less suspect from the standpoint of not even knowing what they were, what we were considering adopting for future use. So that, I guess where I'm going is, it seems to me that considering that the residents really didn't have access to information, that very possibly the best alternative would be having another public hearing. And I guess I would like to hear what the trustees' opinion are as far as the current timeline, considering that the land use plan is already 6 years tardy. I'm trying to figure out why a few months or a year would make this a time-sensitive issue. So I guess I'm asking the trustees of where they view the priority of a timeline on this.
Are you asking us now? Are you?
Yeah, I'd like to know where you guys are at with this. This is
We have this up for discussion in new business, so
okay.
I think we are discussing it tonight.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to figure out how I make comments based on your discussion, unless I can click back into the meeting when I have an issue or a question. I don't know.
I have a question for the gentleman.
Yes.
Did you attend the January open house that addressed this issue?
No, I was not available at all in January. So no, I didn't attend it.
Because the statement was made by you this evening and also by others at the previous trustee meeting that this was sprung on you as though it was hidden. There were notices that began, I think, last September, if I'm not mistaken. There was the open house and there have been other things. It's been on the website, it's been on Facebook.
Joe, I understand that, and that's fair. I'll finish my point this way. When did I have an opportunity to see the listing of the 180 changes to property parcels? When was that list first available to me?
Kim?
Let me look on the website. I'm not sure what day it was posted.
about-
I think it was right after the meeting. It was like a
July
week
20
or two after the meeting.
July 24th. Okay, so if somebody's really interested or have questions about the changes, the parcels and whatever, I guess we have lives other than attending the meetings, but my concern is to go through and actively look at 180 changes to potential parcels to see if we have an issue with it. That's not very much time. Would that be fair?
So what issue do you have with the land use plan?
The information for me to look at to decide whether I support it or not just became available about 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so are you saying that in the 2 weeks that you want to study the map more? Is that what you're saying?
We didn't get a good map until 2 weeks before that. So my concern is we're not getting accurate information. We're not getting it in a timely manner to where the residents can look at the information and make a determination.
Okay, but can I interject? The map was available in January, correct, Kim? At the
Yes,
meeting.
the map has been available since January.
Was it accurate in January?
What do you mean by accurate? You're going to have to explain yourself,
Okay.
Mark.
It was discussed in the land use hearing that up until middle of July, the canceled property never showed the potential new changes. So
That is
you're telling
because
me the
there
map-
was an error in the mapping when they mapped it. The printer got confused. I guess there was 2 overlapping districts and it did
Okay.
not print correctly, but it printed correctly at our public hearing that we had in January. It just wasn't on the map correct for that particular parcel.
So the legend printed correctly, but the map was not accurate.
Just one parcel out of how many parcels do we have in Symmes Township?
I just saw the last 181 somebody wants to change.
But I'm just saying there was one parcel out of thousands of parcels in Symmes Township that was incorrect, only because the printer was confused on printing between the commercial river corridor and the semi-public.
Okay.
Are you saying you have issues with any of the properties that are in question?
I don't know. I just had opportunity to them 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so but here are they any of these properties near your property, or are you just going to go through them randomly? and see who has issues with them. I mean, I'm trying to understand what you're looking for when you're looking at the map.
The few properties I have reviewed or that are regular areas that I travel raised a little bit of concern for me.
Okay, can you talk further? Like, raised a little concern, which ones?
Well, the Presbyterian Sycamore Church, the condo community behind the safety center. But I haven't had a chance to do all the research on what the actual changes are to those properties, or what we're suggesting future use will be or can be on those properties. The information just became available. That's my real complaint. Okay, is that this has been, and Joe pointed out, this has been this and that in January, and the map was good in January, but the reality of it is, when was the homeowners who do live next to the 181 properties in question, when did they have an opportunity to see it? They probably don't even know about it.
They had the opportunity to see it back in January with everybody else when it was announced out in the meeting.
Okay, so each individual 180 parcels were named in January?
Kim?
No, we didn't have a list until we asked for the list.
Okay.
We didn't tell Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission to come up with a list until we had the public hearing.
Why never mind. I won't even ask that question. I will not even ask the question why you would not produce a potential list for the residents until after potentially the final public hearing.
Mark, you know what? I've been doing this for 20 something years, and this is the first time that any community that we've ever had to come up with any list of any property owners of stuff that's being changed. When you do a land use plan, this is the first community that I've ever seen do this. It's not done in any other community.
Yeah, so we shouldn't be transparent. I don't understand the message there.
No, that has nothing to do with transparency. It has everything to do with, this is just the way Symmes Township did it in the past, and no other community does this. So you can't sit here and beat the staff up just because it wasn't done, just because it's never been done.
Okay, so I won't find another community that doesn't do it the same way.
No, I don't think you're going to.
Okay, I will take that challenge because I don't believe you're accurate.
Okay.
Okay, where I started to go was, I will suggest to you again, and I will in every meeting I attend in the future, that during the time of COVID-19, you as our trustees should not pass any legislation that's non-essential or not time sensitive, allowing all residents to participate. And please don't any one person take this personally. After reviewing hours of videos and comparing them to the minutes of the meeting, the minutes do not accurately reflect the testimony of the meetings. And I'll give you an example.
They're a summary. They're a summary, Mark. They're not required to be accurate.
I'm not asking for responses now. Thank you.
Mark,
okay.
Can I make a comment? Hearing from residents is a time anybody can speak out.
Sure.
So, right. So when you say that making decisions during this time that no resident can make comments, that's not true, because we're hearing from residents at the meeting. So anybody at any time can speak at a meeting, or they can call the township at any time and voice their opinion. They can send us an email at any time. They can call one of the trustees at any time. We are very open to talking to all our residents of the town. Okay? But please do not say that we won't give any resident a chance to talk, because we will.
Well, a lot of them cannot come in public to speak.
Okay,
And that's who I'm
well,
speaking for.
what you're saying is, if they can't come and speak, they're more than welcome to email us or call us or Zoom in or whatever they need to do to communicate. We're more than happy, please let me speak, to talk to anybody. You know, if you see me on the street, you can talk to me. anytime anybody in our township would like to speak to me about a subject that is going on in the township, we are happy to speak to them. So don't say that we aren't speaking, talking to our residents, because we will do anything. We'll go out of our way to talk to our residents.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask, I'm going to give a challenge to the trustees. And if you have a pencil, please do. I'll challenge you to get the minutes of the 6/4/2019 trustees meeting. Print the minutes, watch the video, and everything that Mr. Grossi said was accurately recorded. However, many of the other residents' comments and the trustees' replies are not accurately recorded. And for God's sake, it shouldn't be that hard. It's recorded and it's on video. I'm talking just about being fair and balanced, not keeping or allowing anyone's personal view or spin to show a bias or keeping from the accurate record. And I am done speaking because I'm going to say this. You act as if the affected parcels on the land use potential future are unimportant to the residents. And you act like, oh yeah, it was all there. Well, it wasn't. So please take that message to heart, that if you keep anything from the residents and don't produce it in a timely manner, you're disserving the residents of the community. You can take that as good advice, bad advice, or a crazy man talking to you. I don't care. I just want it said that it's important that the residents have access to information and accurate information. I'm not talking about T's and dotting I's and crossing T's. I'm talking about just in general. This land use thing is a year and a half old. And just 2 weeks ago, the list of the properties was available to the residents. That's just wrong. But I'm finished. I'm going to leave you to CJ Carr. He'll be right with you.
CJ Carr, 10403 Willow Drive. I guess to start off with, just a little bit, continue on the land use plan here. One thing that's been removed from the website has been all the minutes and the previous information that was previously on the website for the land use plan. How are we supposed to review back at minutes from what went on through those meetings to look at the information that's out there now? Are those going to be put back on the website at some point to look at?
Yeah.
I'm looking now because I thought Luann put them back up. I don't see them on there. I thought that she reposted them.
They were taken down the day after the public hearing. And then
Yeah, I see the land use plan update that was posted on July 24th. And if you go to read more, only thing she's got on there is to view the changes and see the previous map. So you're asking for the minutes, because I know I sent the minutes to you directly. So you're asking that they be put back on the website for everyone else.
everybody else to see, right?
All right.
And also as a part of that, when the land use plan was put on the website, the 2009 was taken out of the 2009 master plan, and the new proposed 2019 was inserted into it. And since then, all land use plans have been deleted from the 2009 master plan that's on the website.
Yeah, we're checking into that. I asked Hamilton County about that because we don't have a copy of the 2009 land use plan with the map inside it. I don't know where it is on our server. I've not been able to find it. So I'm gonna have to ask Hamilton County to provide it to us. I don't know if the map just won't load, like it just doesn't have enough memory, but we are working to correct that. Hopefully they have a copy of it and they can provide us the electronic copy. Because all I have is a printout of it, and I tried to scan it the other day and our copier won't scan it. It's too much information for the copier to hold color wise. So I'm gonna have to, hopefully Brian will answer me back here shortly. He was on vacation and so was Steve Johns. So when they get back, hopefully we'll repost that.
Because the master plan has maps on it to show the different corridor areas in the township. I think those are in black and white.
Right.
But looking at the 2009 land use plan that's posted on the county website, that was just made up in 2019. And I know there is some change, some differences between the adopted master plan and the one that's on the county website. So we're still looking at two different maps that are supposed to be from 2009. So the one in the master plan should be the correct one that we're looking at, not the one from 2019 from the county. We also got a letter. I know some township residents did. I don't know where all they went out to. Basically explaining the land use how it works and went into what needed to be done for a land zone change. And it was also noted in there that the properties that surround Montgomery Trace subdivision and also the Castle property, and in the letter stated the Four Corners in Camp Dennison was also changed back to what it was previously. I guess the first question is I know at the public hearing, it was talked about that Montgomery Trace would be changed back to the previous use on the land use map, and the Loveland Castle property would be changed back. But there wasn't really any discussion at the public hearing amongst the trustees about changing the Four Corners properties in Camp Dennison. I know there's another change that's been made on the land use map after the public hearing. What other changes have been made? How do we find a list of what was made since the public hearing?
We just made 4 changes. We made the one change in Camp Dennison, the one change on Montgomery Trace, the one change for the castle, and we changed the one lady that lives on River Oaks near the park. Her property was not classified correctly in 2009 as residential like it should have been. I think it was classified as park. So we made that change to change it back to residential. Those are the only 4 changes that have been made.
So there are 4 changes that have been made since the meeting.
Right.
Now, was that done by the land use committee or by the trustees?
The trustees have discussed those changes that they want to see.
In a meeting, or when was that discussed?
We discussed it at the last meeting.
About 2 years ago, I know the trustees approved a motion to pay for a new website for the cemeteries. Has that cemetery website been updated and online, and why isn't there a link on the website to find that if it has been?
It is. It's under departments, and you go to cemeteries, and it's right there on the front page of the cemetery. You can see cemetery fees, cemetery rules. And then if you go scroll down to the bottom, it says burial search, and you can pull up all cemeteries. The 3 cemeteries are listed, and you can type in the person's name, or you can type in let's see, you can type in their name, the first name, last name, middle name, the year they were born, the year they died, and the landmark name.
So that's farther down through. I didn't get that far
Yeah,
through
you got to
that.
go all the way to the bottom of the page under departments, and when you click on cemeteries.
Okay.
They're still working on the map part for us. Let me see if I click on Union Cemetery, I've got, yeah, it's the old map. So they were supposed to be updating the maps for us as part of this process. So I only have a map of Union Cemetery and Kerr Cemetery on there, but I do not have one of Waldschmidt.
Okay. And they're still in the process of working on all that through.
The map part, but all the burial part, you can search any of the records. So you can type in, I mean, I don't know anybody that's buried in the cemetery, but you can type in any name and you can tell it what cemetery you're looking in and it will find it for you. And it's kind of a neat little feature because it brings up the actual Google map and then it actually will show you the plot right there. Like it'll put a little marker on it and it'll show you exactly where they're buried.
Okay. Two other quick items. One is in that letter that came out about the land use map, it said that we're using the county website for the maps because the township website doesn't have enough memory or storage to be able to put these maps on our website. Is that why information gets taken down so quick on the website and we can't find it later in time?
Yeah, we only have so much storage capacity on the website. It's a template. So what happens is when you go out and you look for websites and you buy them, you buy a template. And the template only has so much information available on it, like memory size. And then it also is only set up like one way. There's only a certain ways you can manipulate the information, but it's not, you're just working with the template. So that's why a lot of times Luann will take stuff down and put other stuff up and take stuff down and put other stuff up just because we don't have the memory storage.
So if it's only about, I mean, the letter said about 10,000 to upgrade the website, wouldn't that be a plus for the residents when we're trying to find information so we don't have to keep putting it up and taking it down and moving it around? And that way it's all there when we're looking for it, like in the land use when we're trying to find the previous minutes from meetings and things like that. And then last thing with the land use is I know it's in discussion later in the meeting. Is there plans or is the intent to have another public hearing prior to the final vote on this land use plan, or is it just to set it up to move forward and vote on it to finalize it?
CJ, were you at the January open house on the land use?
Not at January open house. I was at the public hearing and I followed everything I could follow through the website, which is how everything came up, not totally complete. Getting back to the listing, if you want to go that far, the 3 previous times that the land use plan has been done by Symmes Township, and I don't care what other county, community, whatever did theirs, Symmes Township has always had the last 3 changes, a list of all these parcels. I asked for that list. There was no list. Now there is a list. It's been thrown together as times went on. All this stuff should have been presented at the January meeting, which it wasn't. I asked for a copy of the map that was shown at the January meeting, and nobody seems to have a copy of that map anymore, but it's all right. The township says that the county owns the map, so they took it with them. I emailed with Brian Snyder at Hamilton County, and he says, no, it's the right map, but he doesn't have a copy of the map. So I don't know what information was put out in the January meeting. I was not there. I know it was all incomplete information because all this information is finally coming out now in June and July.
Well, Steve Johns would actually be the owner of the map because he is the head of regional county or the Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission, and it's his map. He's the one that did the map. So he would be the correct person to talk to get a copy of the map. He had it on boards and he had sticky notes all over the board of where those changes occurred. So it was very apparent to everyone at the meeting where those changes happened because he had them marked on the map.
Okay.
But I'm not sure, like I said, since all this has happened, I'm not sure if they're even back in the office and, if they're working from home or if they're working at office or where they're working. I don't know how he can, you're probably gonna have to call him and meet him and see if he can get you, like, well, he wouldn't be able to get you a copy, but you could probably go down there and see if there's any way you can meet with him to see what those changes were at that time, because he has got little sticky notes all over it.
Okay. Yeah, I spoke with him and Brian Snyder at Hamilton County, so I'm not sure exactly if I asked him or not. I know I had asked Brian about it, but
It's fine.
that-
It's fine. Storybook. You can bring it with me.
okay. Thank you. I'll let Carol speak now.
Hi, this is Carol Symmes. My address is 9972 Washington Street, Camp Dennison, Ohio, 45111. I hadn't planned on speaking tonight, but the more I thought about comments made at the last meeting, I thought it was important for me to just talk about that again, because I was a little surprised and taken back and disappointed at that meeting at the comments made by the Township Law Director. You know, I began my remarks to the board by noting that in 2018 and 2019, that as always pointed out, that all public records shall be promptly prepared and made available. And then I also mentioned that, as had been mentioned by other people in public meetings, that an aggrieved person could take action. And the law director immediately advised the board not to answer my questions because I had basically threatened a lawsuit. Again, please listen to what I said. I was pointing out what had been brought up at previous meetings by other residents, especially in January when a resident stated he really does not want to sue the township to get his records. Again, I guess I'm a little bit confused why at that point the township law director didn't direct me not to respond to this comment, since there actually was legal action threatened. So I don't understand why you, the board, was not advised to answer my questions regarding any my outstanding public records requests, which are over 17 months old. Instead of being, to me, the law director should have been advising you to produce these public records requests. I have not seen the minutes from the last meeting to ensure that my comments made then are correctly recorded. So I'm again asking to be advised when the public records I've requested are going to be ready for review. My first question at the last meeting dealt with public records requests made in January 2019, requesting documentation from October 18, 2018 to December 31st, 2018. I also requested public record documentations for January 19, 2017 to May 15, 2017, as well as March 13, 2018 to August 17, 2018. Another question that I had was regarding a 2017 text message stream regarding a memorial tree policy in Symmes Park. This was requested in April of 2017, and I would have thought that could have easily been provided. However, after many other requests for this documentation, I've not received it. And I know this exists because it was shown to me by Mr. Bryan. The message included a topic which should have been handled in open session, as it was stated in that text message. I have one vote for and one vote against. You are the deciding vote. And this text message was again acknowledged by Mr. Bryan on April 20th, 2017 in an email. So as I questioned the last meeting, is this copy going to be made available to me, or am I not receiving it because it's been deleted? I also made 2 public records requests for payroll timesheets, January 23rd to February 7th, 2020, and February 8th to February 21st. Again, these requests were made on many occasions with copies to the board, and staff refused to provide them. And the board, knowing that these requests were being made and not being provided, took no action to instruct the staff to provide them. Again, I did not indicate at the last meeting that I was seeking legal action. And like another resident, I am merely asking when these way past due responses will be received. Another concern addressed at that last meeting was regarding the firing of the assistant to the physical officer, and for clarification as to what open meeting the board took this action. I reviewed all the minutes in 2020, And the only action I've seen is the adoption of Resolution 2020-33 in April, authorizing the township administrator to enter into a severance agreement with her over 30 days after it was presented to her for signature. I am not going to repeat the background information. Hopefully those remarks are noted in the minutes you approved tonight. However, this information was in relationship to the fact that all the time she had concerns regarding borderline discrimination and harassment by staff, you considered her to be my employee, but her dismissal was your decision. Now, March 5th, about 30 days before you adopted Resolution 2020-33, she signed this severance agreement and was immediately dismissed. But my biggest concern was and continues to be, when did you take this action in open meeting to terminate her employee and to offer her a severance package? This was presented to her by Kim weeks before in February while I was out of the office and LaWanda was told she had to sign it. There is nothing in the minutes I can see where you came out of any executive session and made a motion in open meeting for this action. So my question at the last meeting and at this meeting, which has not been answered to date, was when do you make the decision in an open meeting to offer her a severance package for 3 months and then to also agree to pay her wages through March 31st, 2020? The only assumption I can make, since there's nothing in the minutes, was this action was not discussed in an open meeting or voted on in an open meeting. I also requested you provide me confirmation letters from the 3 insurance companies stating that I was covered under COBRA for April 2020, or to refund my COBRA payment made to the township in March. I do not believe this was an issue with the law director. However, there has been no response from you regarding this issue. So again, I'm requesting that I neither receive confirmations from the 3 insurance companies that I was covered for April 2020, or that you're going to refund my COBRA payment, which is about $700 and something. I do have other new issues I would like to bring before the board. However, I think until I receive answers to all my current past due concerns, I think I'll wait before speaking out on any additional ones. Oh, I'm sorry, I do have 2 additional old items which I have not heard an answer. And these are concerns I raised in January, February meetings regarding the Little Miami Chamber and outstanding money due the township. One amount was $735.88 for payment of township employees working 2019 Firecracker Festival. And the other, I don't believe there was a clear amount of money due, but was for money collected from them for the 2019 wine tasting event, which was not remitted to the township. Since I was never advised on the outcome of these situations or what the board decided, I would like to know if the chamber ever remitted these outstanding amounts to the township. Did the township waive the amounts? Are we helping to support a for-profit organization? So I hope that I will soon receive the public records request that I have requested. I will receive answers about my COBRA and some answers regarding the money owed by the chamber. Thank you.
First off, I would like to correct a bit of a misinformation that Carol put forth early in her enunciation of her gripes. The resident you were referring to in January, who you say threatened legal action, was me. I did not threaten legal action. I simply made a statement of information that because you did not supply me with public document requests, when I explored what my options were, I was told that I would have the right to sue the township. And my statement in that meeting was, why would I want to sue the township and cost the taxpayers money that they were not guilty for covering? We already lost plenty of money in the course of my demanding public records that were months and months and months in arriving, and some of them never. There were 2 requests that were made that went a year with no response from Carol Symmes. So the hypocrisy here is unbelievable.
Anything else? Okay, thank you. Moving on, is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Nope, I don't have anybody else listed.
Okay, moving on to reports. Law Director. Welcome, Jack.
Well, thank you very much. It is a pleasure to see the three of you again, even if it's just on the TV or computer screen here. I don't have any specific thing to report tonight other than to say I'm excited to be working with the township again and working with Kim again.
Okay, thank you. I might. Chair?
Mike, are you still there?
Yeah.
Gotta unmute.
Go ahead, you're up.
I apologize, and I'll apologize in advance if we get some barking. I'm dealing with two dogs. Nothing really new to report. We continue with the limited COVID response, which I think has been going pretty well. I think we're getting out to the people we need to. Everyone's getting taken care of that has calls for service, and it's just not always in the traditional way. I don't really have any idea, or we don't, when that will be lifted and we'll be back on normal response. That's kind of out of our hands at this point. I'm getting settled in. The transition's going smooth, or going pretty well so far. Just getting used to the new position. So everyone's been really great, and hope that continues.
Thank you.
Thank you, board. You have my written report in your packet. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have, and I think I have other items on the agenda, so I'll stick around for those later.
Thank you. Director of Public Works, we don't have Bill. I do just want to thank him again during this difficult time we're having. I think our departments are doing great, and our staff is really stepping up to the plate. So thank you again. Committees, Finance Committee on 7/29/2020. Joe or Kim, you want to take that?
I think Joe mentioned it earlier that we just reviewed banking information from Fifth Third, and we were hoping to review information from PNC to make a decision on whether or not we wanted to stay with PNC or move to Fifth Third.
Okay, thank you. And do we have anything for other?
No.
Okay, correspondence. None. Let's see, events and meetings. We have Yappy Hour this Thursday, August 6th, 2020 at 6:30. We have story times at Symmes Library from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Mead, and I believe that's August the 18th. And usually,
you're right.
Yeah, usually
Sorry
they.
about that.
Oh, you're okay. Usually they do it all at once, but we're going to kind of have it strolling so we can separate the groups so we don't have so many people together. So please come out and enjoy that. We have Zoning Commission meeting Wednesday, August 19th, 2020, 7 p.m. and that's via Zoom. Regular trustees meeting, can you get him in? Yeah. I'm sorry, my dog died, so I apologize if he barks. We have a regular trustees meeting Tuesday, September 1st, 2020 at 7 p.m. and that's by Zoom. We have a cleanup day Saturday, September 26th, 2020 from 9 to 3 and that's at Home of the Brave. And I guess that's all. So we are moving on to old business. I move approval of resolution G 2020-44, resolution revising Symmes Township Personnel Policy Manual, Article 2, Condition of Employment.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, I'm the one that held this up for the last 2 months while I tried to dig into what other townships were doing. I never found a policy concerning what we're talking about here in Anderson Township, but I did find one in Delhi Township that's a lot like the one that we're replacing. I'm not sure that I really like the one that we're putting forth in this resolution, but in the interest of time and effort, I want to go ahead and say that I would now vote for it, subject to change as soon as I find something better.
Okay. Bill?
Ms. Lees?
Just real quick. Bill, did you have any comments about it?
No, not at this time.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go to roll call.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to new business, discussion concerning preempting devices for Montgomery Road. Kim, you want to tee us off?
I was gonna say Ken probably is better. Ken and Ott have been talking about the preemption devices for Montgomery Road. And Ott had sent a revised list to everybody, or actually sent it to me and then I forwarded it to you all. But basically the fire department is asking that we go ahead and purchase preemption devices for the lights that we have on Montgomery Road from our border at Fields Erdel all the way down to our border at Cornell. I think it's roughly about $10,000 a light. And then there would be, I think Ott told me it's $3,000. Is that right, Ott? $3,000 for each device in the cars?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Can I speak to this, Kim?
Sure, go right ahead, Ken.
Okay. I talked to Ott many years ago about light preemption devices on Montgomery Road. When I found out that there was a Montgomery Road Corridor Committee that had some funding that they were willing to spend for improvements along Montgomery Road. The money became available as part of a settlement, an out-of-court settlement with some developers along Montgomery Road, and that money was put into escrow to advance Montgomery Road. And when I talked with Ott about it, I live at the corner of Montgomery Road and Calumet, and it pained me to see fire engines or ambulances running down Montgomery Road in an emergency situation and stopping at a red light, blowing their horn and then proceeding. And I thought that there ought to be a way that we could improve response times and things like that. I see a lot of benefits accruing to our neighbors to the north, especially who make the Montgomery Road run to Bethesda North Hospital. I'm speaking about Hamilton Township and Morrow. I'm talking about Deerfield Township and Mason, if they come across this way to Bethesda North. There are other communities like Sycamore Township coming across Kemper Road, that if they had light preemption devices, their response time to the hospital would be improved.
Can I just ask a quick question, Ken? It's my
Yes.
understanding that all the other towns, like Deerfield Township, they're all going to have preemptive device. City of Montgomery, all the way down. That's what
I believe for the most part, you're correct. I think some are still up in the air. I can speak better to that. But what I wanted to say is we tried to pull, several years ago, we tried to pull a lot of communities together and get grants to help pay for this. And it became so big and so unwieldy, even with the multiple communities participating, that nobody wanted to help fund it. So we're resurrecting this in the sense that we have some money out there that would help pay for perhaps almost as much as 1/3 of the light preemption devices that we're talking about. I think there are 9 lights on Montgomery Road, and we can get perhaps as many as 3 of them paid for by this outside fund.
Okay,
So-
so if we're talking 9 and you're talking we're talking $70,000 in total. Is that what we're talking?
I think they're about $9,500 to $1,000 on average per light. So it's like $90,000.
Yeah, but you took
my
out,
guess.
yeah.
And the Montgomery Montgomery Corridor Fund trustees have agreed that they would spend all the money they have left in that fund. We spent some of that money years ago when we did the sidewalks on Montgomery Road. We paid out of that fund, we paid for the engineering work from Harper's Station south to our border at basically just south of Cornell at Melting Pot. We paid for the engineering for all of that out of that fund, and what's left is about $27,601.58, which these trustees are willing to put all forward into funding the light preemption devices.
Okay, so Kim, what fund would we take this out of? Fire, obviously.
Well, yeah, we could either take it out of the Safety Services Levy Fund, Or the closer we got to Fields Erdel, we could probably start to pay for it with some TIF money because it would actually benefit that district. So we have,
Well,
we have a
I
couple
had some,
options there.
I had some other ideas, guys. Number one, I think that the TIF fund could pay for Fields Erdel, Union Cemetery, and Inyard. I think that the private fund could pay 90% of Mason Montgomery, Calumet, and Kemper. And then there are three other lights, one connecting Symmes Station, Harper's Station and Harper's Point, which I would like to approach both Town Properties and Casto developers to see if they couldn't contribute to funding the preemption device for that light. I would like to approach Vintage Club in the city of Montgomery for contributions. The one that was light that was just put in outside of Vintage Club and the Christ Hospital Outpatient Center. And then I'd like to approach Montgomery to see if they would help us with the one at Cornell, since they own the other side of the street.
I'm okay with that. I think that sounds like a good plan.
You have anything, Dan?
Yeah, we spoke with, I spoke with the city of Montgomery today. They're having their public works director check and see if they have the budget to help us with the Cornell Road intersection. So their fire chief's going to get back with me on that, as well as the devices that would go in the township vehicles. Our firefighters association would pick up the cost of those.
You're talking fire vehicles only, right?
Yes, correct. The fire department vehicles.
Okay. Would there be any benefit to our police department having them?
Oh, certainly. Any emergency vehicle and our snow plows. A lot of things that are problems with the snow plows, especially if we get a snow at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they wind up getting stuck from traffic light and behind the traffic. And this would allow them to clear the intersections so that the plows could continue to plow. So there's a good benefit, not only for the emergency services, but the sheriff's office, as well as our public works salt trucks.
And these devices that are used to trigger the light preemption devices would be portable in the sense that you could change them from vehicle to vehicle?
Yes, you could.
Okay.
I spoke with the city of Montgomery. I spoke with the city of Mason, who has 51 intersections, and spoke to them about ongoing costs. And with 51 intersections, they only budget roughly $10,000 a year, but have not used anywhere near that to maintain the devices they have. They said they're pretty much maintenance free, other than possibly once in a while getting struck with lightning on an antenna and have to have an antenna replaced. But they've come nowhere near spending that kind of money to maintain those.
Okay. And the whole Montgomery Road corridor outside of Symmes Township would be on a similar system, so you wouldn't have to have a different device for each set of lights?
Well, the ones in Symmes Township, Sharonville, Blue Ash, and the city of Mason are all on the GPS, the Opticom system. The city of Montgomery operates on the siren system, so they would still be able to be activated by our trucks and ambulances.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Nope. So I think we have a plan.
Well, we don't have a commitment. We're just discussing possibility of what it would take.
Right. So we have a plan to move forward, is what I'm saying, to start addressing how we're going to get it paid for.
Okay. Then are you looking for a motion?
I don't think we need a motion. Don't we have to figure out if, like, some of the subdivisions or are going to help us pay for it? Is that what you're asking, Ken?
Well, there's a different way of doing it, and that is to go with the ones that we can pay for while we search and try and get other revenues to help pay for the ones that we don't have funded for.
Okay, so if you want to make a motion to start it, you can.
Okay, I would move that we move forward with the acquisition and placement of at least 6 preemption devices on the Montgomery Road corridor, relying on funds from TIF and from private fund, and the support from the Loveland Symmes Firefighters Association, while we progress with seeing if we can't get buy-in from other entities to help fund the remaining 3 lights.
Do we have to have a dollar amount on that?
I think we do. I think they're like $9,650 for 8 of the 9 lights, and one is $1,000 more. That's at Mason Montgomery Road, and it has to do with the age of the equipment. If you know, when we expanded Montgomery Road, a lot of the light systems were redone. Trip lights now don't use the concrete trip lights. They use antennae up on poles next to them. So there's a lot of upgrades that have been made, except for the Mason Montgomery light. I think that there might have something to do there with crosswalk also, but it's going to require like $1,000 more to do that one.
Okay. So do you want me to give you a second?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Do you want me to are we ready for a roll call, or do you need to speak more, Phil or Ken? Are you ready for a roll call?
Ready. I am. Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryan,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
I'm going to say aye, and I want to also say we've talked about this subject for a little while now. It's very important. It's a huge asset to our community, and I very much appreciate all of the work that has gone on to get us to this point, particularly with the cost sharing. So thank you.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryan,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Okay, moving on. Discussion concerning the next steps for the land use plan. Anybody want to tee that one off?
I'm happy to. We received a lot of good input at the public hearing, some of which was discussed again this evening. I think we have, we're still in the how should I say, the homework stage as far as making sure that the documents we have for public review are accurate. So I was going to suggest that we're kind of in that phase right now of verification. We need to put the 2009 map in full size right next to the 2020 map and scrutinize those two side by side, while at the same time reviewing that spreadsheet that was assembled listing the changes. By the way, that spreadsheet was extremely helpful. Once we convince ourselves that our 2020 map is correct, and the spreadsheet listing of changes is correct, then we should be posting that map and the spreadsheet next to the 2009 map online via our typical links through the Hamilton County website. And I think those should be posted for a period of time, at least 2 weeks, to receive. So public, and by the way, we need to communicate the fact that they're out there on all of our typical communication methods. Facebook, website, e-newsletter, email distribution, etc. So we give the public at least 2 weeks, and then we schedule a public hearing that is both available in person as well as virtual. And we also receive comments via email. We have the public hearing, we receive any additional feedback, and we make the necessary adjustments, and we adopt.
Okay.
I
I do.
have a request. For other Symmes residents who may be in the same category I'm in, I don't have a solid understanding of the basis for a requirement for updating a land use plan and the detrimental effects that can occur to the township and property owners if we do not update it. I think that might go away, help with some residents who are like me and don't totally understand that. I mean, I've had some of it explained to me by him, and if she or one of you could state it, those parameters for people who may be watching, I think it might be helpful.
You cut out, Joe. What did you say?
Let me shut my dogs up.
Okay.
I know I've had a lot of conversations with people in River Oaks, and I do know that they want this to be over and done with. So I don't see holding it out that long. They want us to make the appropriate corrections. I mean, I'm willing to go through another public hearing. I think we should give everyone in the township opportunity to be heard. But I do know there's a lot of residents that feel that we need to move forward. So sitting on it, I don't think is necessarily a good idea. We don't know how long COVID's gonna be here for. I mean, we could be sitting here next year. I do know from talking to people, a lot of people, that they want it done and over with. So let's take our steps. Let's get everything updated and on the website. Give it a couple weeks for people to review. If you want to have another public hearing, I'm happy with that. But I think we need to open the door for comments, concerns, and then we need to take it to the next step and adopt it after we get the concerns. If we have to do some modifications, okay, that's fine. But I do know a lot of people that I spoke to want to move forward. They don't want to be stuck. So that's all I have to say.
Are we operating under a time constraint to accomplish this?
No, but I think we had comments that were made in the public hearing where they don't think we should make any decisions while COVID-19 is going on.
Wow.
And I've talked to a lot of people. I could probably give you a whole list that they don't feel the same way.
Yeah.
So
If we don't, in a timely fashion, institute an update of the land use plan, then my understanding is there could be negative consequences from that, in that it takes control somewhat away from us and puts it in the county's hands. Is that true?
Yes. So what happens is you're supposed to, I don't think you're required to by law, but you are supposed to update your land use plan at least every 5 years or take a look at it. And what that means is you can do a comprehensive review like we've done, or you can look at it and say, yep, we looked at this, we like what we still have, but at least we're acknowledging that we went through the process, we updated it, and we left it with no changes, and then you put the new date on it. And the reason is because anytime we get a request for a zone change, it first goes to Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission for a recommendation. And Hamilton County's bylaws, they state that if the two land uses match, then it's an automatic approval. If they don't match, then it's an automatic denial. So if we say, for instance, we have a piece of property and it's the person, it's zone residential and they want commercial. So they're going to come in, see that our land use plan says, nope, it says residential. The person wants commercial, they're going to do an automatic denial on it. And they're going to send it to the zoning commission that way and then send it on to the board that way. However, if the map is out of date beyond the 5 years, it also states in their bylaws that they will then make a recommendation about what they think the land use plan or the zone change should be. So we say it's residential and it comes in commercial, and then the developer makes a case and he gets Regional Planning Commission to buy into it. Since we've not updated our land use plan and not made any decisions or had any community input, the Regional Planning Commission can actually make a decision and say, yep, we agree with the developer. We think it should be commercial, and then they can pass it on to the our zoning commission that way. So the case for updating your land use plan every 5 years it would be imperative to do that, just so that we are the ones in control of our destiny and what we want in our township.
Thank you.
Okay. Ken, your comment?
No, I'm just thinking, I don't like the default on anything. I don't want any control taken out of my hands.
Right.
Agreed.
Okay, so we know what our next step is, right?
Well, I think we have a plan that Phil pretty much outlined. It's just a question of timing. But I think, I agree that I think we should go around another time. We should get all our ducks in a row. And then we should go around one more time on the public hearing.
Okay, all the maps have been already posted on the website. So there's the 2009 map, there's a 2019 map, and there's a list of parcels.
We have a 2009 map on our
Yes,
website.
it is on the Hamilton County's website. So if you go to our
okay.
website and you click on it,
Do we have a link? Do we have a
Yep,
link?
there's a link.
From our website to theirs.
Yep, so if you go to planning, zoning, and economic development. Hold on, I gotta scroll. My computer's being a brat.
Why don't we just put news out on our website and say, here's how you get to it.
We could, yeah, we could do that. So we could just put it, but it's what it is if you go to news and you have to click on archives and you have to click on July, since
No,
we
just give
posted
me a
in
recipe.
July.
Give me a link or give me a recipe out there under news. Because there's
Okay,
a lot
well,
of
we can just move it up.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was posted on July 24th, 2020, and you have to hit the read more button. And then it says the township is in the process of updating its land use plan. After receiving public input at the public hearing on July 7th, Hamilton County zoning updated the map to reflect the new changes. Click here to view the changes and see the previous map. So if you click here, it will take you to Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission's website. And then you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom and you click on other maps. And then it lists all the 2020 maps. Sorry, I'm gonna push this down for a second so I can see my other computer. But it lists the northern section map 2020, which was posted on 7/23. It lists the southern section that was also posted on the same day. It lists the middle section and it's got a 2019 date on it. So that means that that's the map we had from January. The northern section 2009, the southern section 2009, the middle section from 2009, and then we have our land use change parcel info, which was posted on 7/20. So all of those maps are available for review, and they have been there since the middle of July, or whatever those dates I said, 7/20 and 7/23.
So when we send it out to like the HOA, do we just have that link attached where they just pop the button? They don't even have to go to the site. So can we send that out? And when we send it out on our e-newsletter, can we just have that just link just pop to our newsletter?
Yep.
And so straight to it. And if we put in there, if anybody has problems finding it, if they can call the township and we can walk through how they can get access it.
Okay. So we'll send out the e-newsletter either this week or the beginning of next week. We've already got it on our website. We can send it out to all the HOAs. What else do you guys want to do? Oh, Facebook.
So have we plotted out the 2009 and this new 2020, full size, color, put them side by side and scrutinized them. That's what we
Yeah,
need
that's
to
what
do.
Steve and Brian did.
Well, they did that before and we had some issues. So
Well, it's because
think
the
it-
printer didn't print it correctly. That's why. Yeah. It got confused and printed one district over top of itself. So what it does when it gets confused is it doesn't print anything. And it didn't show it as scenic river corridor, which is no longer. So it's actually back to what it was, which is semi-public, public and semi-public.
I think we should do some quality assurance to their quality control.
Okay.
Well put.
So we have the 2009, we got the 2020 full size color, and then we have the spreadsheet. So we have all three documents next to each other, and we go through meticulously with a yellow highlighter and we verify. Then we broadcast. Once we've convinced ourselves,
Okay.
I think that would pay dividends.
So when do you want to have this public hearing then?
Once we've scrutinized, then we post and then we broadcast, and give at least a couple weeks.
Yeah.
That's my recommendation.
Okay, so then you're saying the earliest we could possibly schedule it would be October.
I don't know. It depends how quickly we can scrutinize.
Well, I want to wrap it up. So
Sure,
I
I
will
do too.
scrutinize, but I just don't want to delay it any more than I have to, just because it just keeps holding me up as I'm trying to work on other projects.
But if we rush it and we pass that valuable scrutinized step, then we're going to be right back to where we are today, 2 months from now.
Well, we're not rushing anything. We've been working on this since April of last year.
Right. Right.
And I just want to make sure we thank the committee, because the committee worked very hard on this, and they thought very progressive.
Jody, we lost you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Lost me.
I hear you. I can hear you.
So I think we need to make sure that committee knows how much we appreciate their work, because they did a really nice job. They thought progressively. Okay. So are we ready to move on?
I think we have a plan.
Okay. So let's move on. Discussion concerning the fall newsletter. We should go ahead with the fall newsletter. I think any type of communication to our residents is absolute. So we have some residents that don't rely on computers or Facebook, so a newsletter is a way of getting things out, and I think it's important for us to do.
I agree. I think that we should post a newsletter, if nothing else, to talk about the Santa Claus stops and so on in December.
Yeah, and we about how to do Santa Claus. So we were thinking, if we're still having an issue with COVID, which we probably will, we were thinking maybe if we can have Santa stay in the truck, and people can come up to the truck and talk to him. So there's that social distancing. So we're trying to think of new ways that we can have Operation Santa and still be social distancing and still take into concern COVID-19. So we're working on that. And we also, last meeting, we talked about how we're gonna decorate the trail at Mead for, since we can't have Fall for Symmes, which I'm very sad about, because that's one of my favorite events, and I know all the kids are gonna miss that. But we were gonna put up some decorations at the Mead Trail and do where the sunflowers are now. We're gonna do a hay maze, and so people, I don't know if we're gonna put it up for a week or 2 weeks, whatever you guys want to do, so people can get out on their own and enjoy the fall weather. Something fall themed.
I have a question.
Okay.
What's kind of, if we do the fall newsletter, what's the drop dead date for publication?
Well, normally we would have had it to go out in September, but I guess we can really put it out whenever we want.
Now we can put it out if we're gonna do the Mead Trail. You can put that out when, right before that, a week or so everybody knows what's going on,
Like mid-September?
or beginning of October.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I think we ought to put find some substance. Let's talk about COVID or something else and how it relates to Symmes Township in this newsletter. Let's put something in it. If we're going to take some things out, let's make sure that we're using.
And Symmes Township has done a really good job with social distancing and keeping the number of COVID cases down. So keep up the good work.
And let's do a land use plan update in the newsletter. By the way, I'm all for the newsletter. We keep communicating. That's important.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll come up with a list of topics that we want to include. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, I move to appoint Denny Connor, Tony Rosiola as members, and Dan Unger and Josh Girth as alternative members to District 2 Integrating Committee representing the Hamilton County Township Association.
Second.
I'm sorry.
Need a discussion? We all okay with that? Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
I move approval of resolution G 2020-66, resolution appointing Jeff Forbes, law director pursuant to ORC section 501.15 and dispensing with the second reading.
Second. So that's 504.1.
Did I get it backwards?
Yeah, you said 501.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Welcome, Jeff. And I'm sorry.
Much.
Yeah.
I'm using my flashlight to see now, so you guys are going to have to give me a break. Okay. I move approval of G-2020-67, resolution authorizing a change order in the Blong Road Bridge Replacement Project contract for Smith Construction in the credit amount of $380.
I'd like to table that.
Why?
Well, I think we put the fence in the wrong place.
Oh, Kim?
It's there. You'd have to pay money to take it back out.
Well, I think that we need a fence on the culvert that they replaced anyway, to replace the ones that were there. And there is no fencing and they have a steep drop off and I'm concerned about it.
Right, and I told you I would get a quote on the fencing, but the problem is the fencing is already there. I mean, it's already where it is and I can't move it. It's cemented into the ground.
Well, let me ask a slightly different question. If we have to supplement what we've already done by doing it where it should have been done in the first place, how does that affect this change order? Would we have a third one?
No, I would do it on a separate contract. I wouldn't even have Smith Construction do it. I would just have a fence company come in and do it.
Are we talking $5,000, $10,000? What are we talking?
I don't know yet. Bill's gonna get an estimate for it.
Well, I thought that the fence cost something in the order of $14,000 that we put in there. And they're saying we're saving $380 over what it would cost to put guardrail.
I don't think it was that much, but
Well, I'm just saying, I think it was $14,000 fencing we put in. Okay.
Okay.
If that's the way you want to handle, I'll withdraw my comment of tabling it. My question, I really wanted a discussion on it before we voted. You see, when we tore out that bridge, the county forced us to replace, it would have never collapsed anyway because it's 5 feet deep in concrete. But we tore out a concrete wall on one side and a guardrail on the other side. And then when this culvert and so on, the new, what do you want to call it, bridge or whatever was put in, there was no fencing at all put in over it. So I thought that the fencing should have replaced what had been there, namely a concrete wall on one side, guardrail on the other. I agree. I think the fence where it is and how it looks and everything is absolutely beautiful. It really is. But, I don't think it's where it's supposed to be.
Okay. Anything else?
If you're looking for a second, I'll go on the record as seconding it.
What, the table or the
No.
resolution?
Jody, she made a motion approval of the resolution.
Okay,
So we hadn't seconded that yet.
okay. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No problem.
Okay, so we're having the discussion. Anything further?
I have no objection to putting through the change order because it's within $380 of what we had put up front. Now we did one change order to add concrete in the bottom of the trench. Is that correct?
Actually, the wing walls needed extra concrete because of the soil
Okay.
conditions.
All right. So we had one change order and this is kind of a second one.
Right. But it's actually a credit. So,
Yes.
and with it being an OPWC project, that's why I put it on the agenda, because I figured that the state would want us to, fix it.
Okay.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
We're voting on the resolution as written.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
I move approval of resolution G 2020-68, resolution authorizing the township administrator to enter into agreement with Completely Clean for cleaning services for the safety center not to exceed $13,200 per year. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, what are we paying now?
Paying about $12,000 for cleaning. It's like $1,067 a month.
Yeah.
So it's a 3% increase.
the same company.
Beneath,
No,
No,
this would
it's
be a
not.
different company.
No, it's not the same company, Joe.
Yep, different company.
The reason why we're switching companies is because we're not happy with the one that's doing it for $12,600 a year,
okay,
which I think is an absurd amount of money.
me too.
Safety Service Center,
How often do they clean?
twice a week, I think.
Yep, twice a week.
Now, can we write a lot of this stuff off to COVID with our CARES Act?
I'm not sure, because COVID, the CARES Act says you're supposed to only spend it on things that you didn't budget for.
Okay,
And we had already budgeted, and we do this on a regular basis anyway.
well, I can see where you need a lot more cleaning under the COVID protocol. Are we getting that level of cleaning? Or we have to supplement the contract to get that level of cleaning?
I don't
current-
think we supplement it. It's the same clean that we've always had, so
But they're not doing anything separate or special for COVID.
I don't think so.
And it's really asinine is how much we're spending. But you switch companies and you find out that the cost goes up 3%.
Is this
Maybe I'm
on more than
in
one
the wrong
bid?
business.
Yeah, he had more than one bid.
Okay.
Were the other bids higher than this?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna interject this comment and be done with it, but it seems to me like when we switch to the company we currently have, and we got another couple of months to run on that contract, that we weren't happy with the company we had before, and now we're not happy with this company. What makes us think we're gonna be happy with a new company?
What's your solution?
Yeah, so we keep having the
Well-
same crappy company and pay them money for stuff that's
No,
not.
I know. I
Up
said
to
I was
par?
gonna interject the comment and then quit.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
I don't
Mr.
have
Beck.
much choice.
Aye.
Okay, I move approval of resolution G 2020-69, resolution authorizing the township administrator to enter into a contract with Medical Mutual of Ohio for providing health insurance coverage for the elected official and full-time employees of Symmes Township.
Second.
Discussion? Did it go up?
Yeah.
Yes, it went up
8%.
7.8% for us, and then I believe it went up,
7.88.
yeah, but then it went up more for the people on Medicare.
Medicare was
Like
8%.
9.
I
What
thought
was
it
it
was 8.
again?
It's 8% for Medicare and 7.88 for regulars. That's my recollection.
And is that like average for, or is that good, or is that bad, or what are we talking
Yeah,
about?
I mean, we're staying under 10%. I mean, for a long time, we were at 2 and 3%, and then last year we got hit with that 9 and 11%. So this year it came back down to the 7.78 and the 8%, which is pretty good. I mean, if you're in single digits.
Well,
Okay.
I think there's one other thing that accrues to us for renewal here, and that is that we're grandfathered in another year by this renewal. They extended the grandfathering act on what do they call that?
Grandmothering.
Yeah, grandmother and grandfathering, but the plan is, the Obamacare or whatever, we're holding them
Like
for
for
another
community
year.
rating.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
I move approval of resolution G 2020-70, resolution authorizing the township administrator to enter into agreement with JK Mura Corporation amount of $28,760 to make repairs to the trails at Symmes Park.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, this comes from our park fund.
Yes, this comes from our regular 12A park fund.
Okay, and there's money in there to cover all this?
Yes. Yep.
And the section that we're fixing, it really does need to be fixed. It's slippery. It's like the gravel, it's gravelly. The part of the concrete is falling off. So yeah, it needs to be fixed.
This section that we're fixing was done in 1994. So it was when the original park was built and developed. That's how long it's been since we've done any maintenance on this poor section of trail.
And this is only a section of the trail then?
Yeah, only a section back by Deer Park or Deer Run Shelter.
Okay.
So will it be finished by the time we do the trail improvement or the decorations in October?
Oh, I think Jody wants to do the trail decorations at Mead, but this one, I think Bill told me that they could start in September.
Okay. I'm clear now. Thank you.
Okay. Roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
I move approval of resolution G 2020-71, resolution authorizing the township administrator to purchase 2 new above ground fuel tanks that will be located at the Safety Service Center in the amount not to exceed $11,100.
Second.
Ken, you got it.
Okay.
Discussion? Kim, you want to explain?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we've
go ahead.
I understand the problems we've been having with the gas company and the late fees and them not cashing all our checks and all this kind of stuff, time and the frustration that's been faced by our previous fiscal officer as well as our current fiscal officer and administrator. But isn't there another company we can go to and buy gas locally? Who's going to supply gas for these tanks? Is it going to be Lycans?
Yeah, it'll be Lycans, the same company that we already buy them from now. We already have
Okay.
tanks at the Parks Department, and we have 1 diesel tank at the administration building. This would
Okay.
be to put a diesel tank and a gas tank at Weekly with the intent that the police could fill up at their building And the diesel tank would be there in case the fire department needed to fill up, and then we could just bill the fire department.
Okay, and there's gonna be some kind of accounting system?
Yep,
And so
we would
on,
have
so
a
we know
key.
who's
We've
taking
asked them
what?
to provide a system where it would either be a key or a swipe card, or you enter a code, but each code would be different for the car so that we could identify which car was getting gas, so that we keep track of who's using what.
Okay, and there'll be an additional expense that'll come forward with that?
Yeah, it will be an expense for the system of tracking.
And will this potentially save us money? Because I know when we lock in our rate, whereas at the gas station, we do not lock in a rate. Is that my understanding?
Right, Lycan's bill is generally cheaper than what we pay at Superfleet.
So eventually we'll recoup the cost of this.
Hopefully.
Okay, that was a question I had, so thank you for asking it. Lycans charges us some taxes that we chased back, and they said we still have to pay those taxes, but we don't, at the gas station, we don't have to pay those, so. As long as Lycans comes in cheaper than what we're paying now, and I can see over time that we would amortize this, I'm okay with it.
All right, are we all ready?
Yes.
Roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryan,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
I move approval of resolution G 2020-72, resolution establishing a separate special revenue fund 14L and OTAS to account for CARES Act Carnival Coronavirus Relief Fund pursuant to BH 481.
Second.
Discussion? No, I think that needs to be discussed. Roll call.
I think that's a requirement that we have to pass this resolution.
Right, we have to keep all the money separate, so we have to create a separate fund for the money to go into.
Right.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryan,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Did you say aye, Phil?
I did. Aye.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I move approval of resolution G 2020-73, resolution authorizing the township administrator to enter into agreement with Team All Sports regrade existing baseball field at Home of the Brave Park in the amount of $29,645. My family just turned off all my lights in my house, so I cannot.
Second.
Do we have a discussion?
Well, we talked about it earlier.
Yeah, unfortunately, it did, so
Yeah.
spending the money, but we got to take care of it. Roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryan,
Reluctantly, aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
I move approval of the following expenditures, authorizing the township administrator to sign any necessary contracts, agreements, or paperwork. A, expenditure 3,000 NTE Ryan's All Glass for entry enclosure into the administration building. B, expenditure 3,200 Apex irrigation for a boost pump for Home of the Brave. C, expenditure 3,097.76. The Aero Mark Company LLC for stripping on township streets. D, expenditure $4,582.50. Emergency reporting backdraft OPCO LLC for 2020 record management software.
Second.
Discussion?
Kim, you want to tell me what item D is, emergency reporting backdraft?
I'll let Chief talk about that if he's still on the line. That's for the fire department.
Oh, the chief's gone, I think.
Oh, okay. I believe it's their emergency reporting software license that they have to
Okay,
renew every
all right.
year.
Okay, it just wasn't clear to me that that was a fire department expense.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the Ryan's All Glass, that's for the glass entry coming into the administration hallway. You know, when you come up the steps, we're gonna have them put a piece of glass that has like a little talk window that you can talk through, and then it'll have like a slide through where you can slide forms through the glass. And then that will protect us and protect the residents, like when they come in and talk to us, and we can use COVID money for that.
Oh, we can. Good.
Yes. And then under 3,200, that's Apex Irrigation. That's a booster pump. The booster pump is actually for Home of the Brave irrigation system. We do not have enough pressure coming from Loveland's lines to get all of the sprinkler heads to activate for the whole entire baseball fields. Only part of them are activating because there's not enough pressure. So last year we had asked the contractor to give us a price to put in the booster pump, and they wanted 20 grand to put the booster pump in, and we told them no. So that's why we just waited till they left, and then we had another company come in and give us a price of $3,200. And then the striping on the township streets, those are for all the township roads that we just paved.
Okay, anything else? Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Okay, executive session, we don't have any, so I move to
Second.
roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Not a minute too soon. It's getting too dark out here.
Just
Good
in
night,
time.
everybody. Thank you for attending
All
the
right.
meeting.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.